gentlemen. Hey, you two over there. Let's go. Oh, it's Shelton. Okay. Todd never listens to me anyway, so it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming back after your biscuit and your coffee. I have the pleasure of introducing, am I doing the whole panel or are you doing the panel?
I was told you are.
Oh, you were told I was. Yeah, nice. See, we just do whatever Chadsy tells us to do because it goes a whole lot smoother that way. All right, so I am introducing the industry through the eyes of the community panel. And we have our moderator, Tina Rush. Tina is, actually, she's a rock star, but we'll just put a pin in that. She's a local government affairs rep for MPLX, which we all call still, Mark West Energy. It's okay, because some of the folks in the room, where's Christy? Is Christy and Brian? Now it's called Dominion Energy Ohio. But if you write your check to River Gas, we will cash it. All right, just so you know. Yeah, Jerry's like, that's right. So Tina covers Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky. She works with local officials, schools, nonprofits. She's a Jill of all trades, and we are very, very, very blessed to have her in our area. She's a magna cum laude graduate. You're a smarty pants.
I try.
I love that about you. From Southern Wesleyan University in South Carolina. She has her bachelor's in management, and she lives in West Virginia, which is just not too far from me. So I love that we share that space. Your panelists today are Larry King, Nick Homrichhausen, and Mick, say your last name for me.
Schumacher.
I thought it was Schumacher, but on my see, this is what Chadsy does. He says, it's shoemaker. I'm like, no, I've known Mick for like 20 years. I'm pretty sure it was Schumacher. So Larry's a third-generation dairy farmer in Southeast Ohio. He's got the latest technology in automated milking. Oh, thank you, because it's just way too much work. And waste collection. The Kane family farm is home to 2 Utica wells and 11 horizontal wells. Larry's part of the Smith Goshen landowners group that has 40,000 acres in Belmont County. They signed their leases in 2012, which gave Rice Energy the initial footprint in Belmont County. I'm trusting, Tina, that they're going to talk more, all y'all are going to talk more about the Belmont County Enrichment Fund. We've got about, is this right? The fund has raised $900,000? Okay, I'm going to say almost $1 million because it just sounds so much better. And then we have Nick Homrichhausen, who is the executive director of the Community and Economic Development Group at the Community Improvement Corporation of Harrison County. But more importantly, a friend, a dear friend, who helps my husband pour beer at fundraisers. That's a conversation we can have another time. Nick's a graduate of Muskingum College. He's the vice chair of the Columbus to Pittsburgh Roadway Association and serves on the OEDA, Ohio Economic Development Association Board of Directors, and the subsidiary of Jobs Ohio, which is Ohio Southeast. Mick worked at Canalco, which we all call Ormet, for, it says, 28.5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened to the 29? You just didn't want to hold out?
It closed.
Oh, okay.
I wrote it to the bottom.
Yeah, well, yeah. And the reason I point that out is I'm at 28.5 with Dominion Energy, formerly East Ohio Gas, so I want to make sure I make 29.
There you go.
But more importantly for all y'all is that Mick has been a Monroe County Commissioner and is now a County Commissioner again. He concentrates on quality of life, veterans issues, senior citizens. He is vice president of the Monroe County Historical Society and has been involved for almost 30 years. Okay. I'm missing a page. So I'll just vamp. Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, these are folks who know way more about what the industry is in the communities that they serve than I do. So I'm going to turn it over to Tina, and here we go.
All right, well, thank you so much, Tracy. And I can't tell you guys how excited I am to hear what they have to say, and I think probably most of us in this room are. We often think we know what the community feels about our industry, right? Whether it's good or bad, we think we know, but these gentlemen are going to tell us, and I'm really excited about that. So welcome, and thank each of you for joining us today. So let's talk about the big picture. Let's just start there. Monroe, Belmont, and Harrison County, they've all had a great deal to do with the shale gas industry the last decade or so. So I would like for you guys to kind of tell us how we're doing, give us your past experiences. We'll start with that. And Commissioner, can you kind of tell us your perspective from the local government point of view?
We've always had a good presence of oil and gas. We also had a lot of industry on the river. We talked about Canalco, Ormet. When those plants were closing, the oil and gas came through the area in a big way and quite frankly saved the county.
I agree.
A lot of those guys that worked in those plants transitioned into other jobs that were in the field, and a lot of them didn't have to relocate. Those farmers that were land poor, who worked their tails off, finally got a chance to see some benefit.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Even, I live across the river, the Ohio River from you, and a lot of the folks who live in my county also worked at Ormet. And you're absolutely right. I know so many of them who transitioned from Ormet when it closed into the oil and gas industry in some manner.
Some fashion.
Yeah. So, are there any other benefits or even negativity, whichever you want to share, from your experience with the gas industry?
The largest amount of road improvements in our county was from oil and gas.
Great.
We've seen the annual reports from the engineer every year, and I would say 95% of the road improvements are all oil and gas related. Of course, we have a lot of slips. Mm-hmm. A lot of that has been facilitated through oil and gas because they have to get through. Mm-hmm. And we usually wait on FEMA grants or whatever. Sometimes they're a year or two down the road. Oil and gas comes in, they need to get through, they fix it.
Great.
You know.
So you're not only a local elected official, you're also a resident. So
Yes.
Do you think most of the residents in your area understand the importance of the gas industry when it comes to especially things like you were mentioning the roads and all of that?
Some do, some don't. If you are a beneficiary of the oil and gas, you can put up with the traffic a little easier than
Right.
if you aren't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
A lot of bottle trucks right now going through the square, you know. It's a necessary evil. Mm-hmm. ODOT paves our roads a lot quicker now because they're worn out. Mm-hmm. So that's a good plus too.
Yeah.
And we've noticed our tax base has grown exponentially. If we had a senior citizens levy on that would bring in, say, $75,000 in any one year, that's now over $300,000 or $400,000.
Wow.
That same levy, just from the extra money that tax is generating. Mm-hmm. So it has helped a lot of our programs.
Good. So not only from the government perspective and the taxes and the roads and things of that nature, have you seen any changes maybe in through charitable giving or things of that nature from the industry involvement?
Well, we have had a few new millionaires.
Nice.
And I'm not to say that only millionaires are charitable, but FAO has a presence in the county now, mm-hmm. and we are growing local funds where we have scholarships that are available for not only students but nonprofits and things like that. So there is a lot of foundation work that we never had before. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice way to see us growing our future.
That's great. And you know what I love about that is that it's not just helping somebody right now, but like you said, it's setting the foundation, and especially for scholarships and those future generations to make a difference in a lot of lives going forward. So I love that. I'm so happy you shared that.
On the Monroe County FAO board.
Okay.
So I see that firsthand.
Wonderful.
It's very satisfying to see those benefits.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you, that's one of my favorite things about working in the industry is how charitable the industry can be and the difference that it makes. So thank you so much for sharing that. So let's move on to Nick now. Well, Harrison County is the second most permitted county in the state behind Belmont. So what do you think the industry has done as it relates to economic development in Harrison County?
So the industry's been a partner. They really have, from economic development not only in Harrison County but the state. They work well with Jobs Ohio. They're there for us whenever we need them. From the development side, always looking to co-locate anything they can from their suppliers or other industry around their plants. Very open. You can call them with a day, to go because you just found out you needed a meeting, and open their arms, open up, their office space to have meetings and to talk about, what can we bring to Harrison County or to Ohio, and that's a key partner. They're also, they're Harrison County's renaissance. They're our ticket to diversify our economy in Harrison County to its full potential that was not realized with coal and steel. And so, they bring a key partnership, at least for me, to the knowledge, the willing to share, the willing to try to find unique ways, the big picture items, whether it's roadway improvements so that we can work on, as we all know in Ohio, the river didn't leave us with a lot of flat ground to locate plants all along the river. And so what we've done is we've worked with the industry to try to see how can we improve to move some of those plants inland, not just in Harrison County, but the surrounding counties, because everything wants to be on the river, but after you build it, do you really need to be there? And so those are some of the things that they've been really helpful to us and to me personally in my position. It's the other thing is, I think what people don't understand is we're actually building a new economy, and it's not built overnight. It takes time and it takes teamwork, and that's what the oil and gas industry, is to us. Also, oil and gas is our success story in Harrison County.
That's great. That's great. And I know that my company, and I'm sure every other company that's represented in this room, we all want our communities to be better because we're there than they were without us. So I'm happy to hear that we're making some positive changes and being a positive driver in your counties. So of course, with Larry, none of this that we've talked about could be possible without the landowners. And we love having those partnerships. But can you share a little bit about your experience with the industry?
Been very good.
Good.
We started a landowners group in very early 2011. Went through a phase where we educated ourselves. We thought that was important to be an educated landowners group. We didn't want to be unrealistic in our request, but wanted to be treated fair. And so we spent a lot of time doing that. Approximately 2 years later, is a long period of time. In November 2012, we leased with Rice Energy. And as we were putting our landowners group together, we grew to approximately 40,000 acres. So we were large enough where we would be a very good bolt-on for companies that are already there or someone that would be looking for an initial footprint. And that's what Rice was looking for. And they came in, added about 10,000 acres to our group to get a total of about 50,000. And one thing I want to mention, and Jerry James mentioned it a little bit last night or yesterday at the board meeting, was the effect that the royalty income, what landowners get as far as economic development. I don't think that's ever talked about a whole lot, but it's a huge number when you look at it. Toby Rice mentioned to me soon after they drilled their first well that he had invested $400 million in his footprint before he got the first dollar back from his Bigfoot well. And wasn't hard to do the math to figure out how much of that went back to landowners. Over $300 billion of that was signing bonus to landowners at that time. Wow. And as Jerry talked a little bit in the board meeting, probably that number is twice that size in royalty payments. So, you do the back of the envelope math and you find out that the landowners in our small area in Belmont County has probably gotten somewhere between $800 and $900 million in a 10-year period. And that gets plowed back into the local economy. And also, I think I was just talking to one of the other guys on the board that, this is a unique country we have where we are the landowners own the minerals. I said, well, in a way, it's kind of unique also because the government gets a third of it and they don't even own anything. So a large amount of that signing bonus and royalty payments goes back to the government, who has really no ownership in this at all. But it's been a very good relationship. We, as a landowners group, what was important to us was to be a partner. We weren't looking for somebody just to give us a signing bonus and you know, get our check and get out of the way mentality. We worked very closely with the pipeline development, the pad developments. They were very good about putting those in an area that were less intrusive to our farming operation. You know, personally, we are very proud of the way things fit on our farm. We farm up right to the edge of the pad. We cattle graze right to the edge of the pad. It's a very good example where both industries can coexist. So it's been a great partnership.
So we're able to have farming and the gas industry coexist peacefully? That's wonderful.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works really great. We've had fossil fuel extraction from coal mining in the past. It was way more intrusive, way more environmentally damaging than what we see now. And now we're getting approached by companies wanting to put solar panels on, and we can't envision being able to dairy farm with solar panels right across those acres. It's a very efficient way to produce energy.
Great. Can you elaborate a little bit more about the environmental aspect and your farming and the gas industry and how they are able to coexist?
Once again, it goes back to to being able to fence right up to the pad or grow crops right against the pad. And we don't have cattle dying, we don't have erosion issues, and we have from the very start we were going to be very open about allowing people to tour the pad. And the first thing you hear is how clean it is.
Yeah.
They see all the safety precautions put in place, the diking, the cleanliness, and this has been. And we give tours to people who do not approve of oil and gas, and they go away with a different picture because it is not what they imagined.
Fantastic.
And so I think that's what we need to do more as an industry, is to be more open about what we do, because we shouldn't be ashamed of the way we do it.
Right, and you're absolutely right. I know whenever I do tours of our facilities, that's one of the comments I hear often, is I can't believe how clean it is. So the fact that you're able to do that on your farm, I think that's fantastic, and I'm appreciative that you do that.
We feel that's part of the partnership.
Yeah, thank you. And the other thing that I noticed is you mentioned the large sum of money that came into your group.
Yep.
What kind of difference has that made in the lives of you and your neighbors?
But you see a lot of improvement on family farms. I think that's the first thing you see is you see new tractors, you see new buildings, but you also you see them. I think it was a conservative landowners group, so there was some saved for the future. But you also see the things that we don't really promote or don't really see advertised. Is you see investment in education for their children or grandchildren. You see homes remodeled. You see probably debt down paid, where this has the ability to carry on into the future because of making plans like that. Our family farm always had a future. We were determined we were going to continue the dairy farm, but it has a much brighter future now.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, you guys have all shared great stories to get us started, so I'm excited to see where we're going from here. So, as an industry, there's a lot of stuff that we do well. We do good. There's some stuff that we do really well. But can you kind of tell us what we can do better? Since each of you have different experiences with the industry and you've been involved with the industry for a number of years, from your perspective, what can we do better?
I mean, I think, one of the things that come to mind for me, and we talked about this earlier on, is, it's not getting into the back and forth debate with the keyboard warriors, but it's also, we need to think of more unique ways to get our message out there. And if that's ads from Facebook when there's something positive going on, I think of when Harrison County was #1 GDP in the state pre-COVID because of oil and gas, #4 in the nation in counties. We took that and went to a marketing firm and made sure we blasted it everywhere, because that not only is positive for the industry, it's positive for Harrison County, it's positive for the state of Ohio. And I think we really need to, we are being attacked every day as an industry. And we need to expend funds. It just has to be part of your budget going forward. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, Mike, I had talked with you that at this same conference, there was a group that spoke about that. And unfortunately, it's the world we live in. And if we don't make it part of our budget to do Facebook ads, to do rebuttals to stories, or dictate, we need to dictate the message before the message is dictated to us. And I think that's something as an industry that, we just have to pony up the money, and that's the same for in economic development, that's the same for in county governments, local governments, or townships. Our lunch is getting eaten right now. And a congressman who remained nameless said to me, we need to stop bringing a knife to a gunfight. And that's true. We're too busy. All of us are way too busy in our day-to-day activities to try to fight this. As much as everybody in this room is on the same page, we have to do better.
Okay, that's a good point, really good point. And I think too often we don't tell our story often enough, or maybe loudly enough, so that's a really good point. So what would you think, Commissioner, from what can we do better, or from lessons learned, what should we do differently moving forward?
I'm going to jump off of what both of these guys said,
Okay.
and it is about the promotion. I went to a tourism meeting in Athens, and the director said, you can't have tourism in your county if you have oil and gas. I said, really? She was wearing these glasses that were made from petroleum products, which I wanted to yank off of her face. And I tried to pull it back a little bit and be a little more diplomatic. And I said, we should have tours on some of these well pads. As you were saying, they're surprised at how clean it is. We're not telling that story enough. And as Nick said, we need to control the narrative rather than the lady with the goofy glasses.
So what did she say when you told her that you could have both?
We agreed to disagree.
Okay. I was hoping that you had won her over and
Yeah,
everybody was going to live happily ever after. But
And I would like to point out, MWCD, which covers 18 counties, oil and gas through the leasing, which MWCD was created for flood control and prevention and recreation. So it actually helps every county through MWCD because they've been able to implement a master plan because of oil and gas. And I think that's a story that it just needs to be told, but it needs to be told loud enough.
okay. Yep. So I'm hearing that over and over. I think there's something to that since we keep hearing it from each of you with your different perspectives. So Larry, what do you think we could do better or do differently?
I really think we need to get back to the way we did business when the industry first came to the state.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that?
I really think there was, we welcomed the industry, and not that we don't welcome them now, but I think that what we found, at least what I see, is everybody always wants a bigger piece of the pie, and the pie's only so big. So we have to get back to that proportional share. That if your share is only this large, then you have to be willing to accept that, whether it's whether that shares for paving roads or charitable donations, or and I just think that we've seen a good thing, and we've tried to get more out of. We've become selfish in a way. And I think we need to get back to that working together mentality. And you heard Eric talk about it. I think Ohio is very welcoming to this industry. I think the state needs to be, the government officials need to be, the landowners need to be, the communities need to be.
Yeah.
And because it's a great place to own minerals, it's a great place to do business.
Great. So each of you were talking about telling our story a little bit more loudly. What role, if any, do you think transparency has in that?
I think that's huge.
It's
Okay.
big. It's big, and I'd like to make the point. Everyone in this room sees it or hears it. There's only one Mike Chastity, right?
Yeah.
And he zigzags.
Only
all
one
over the
Mike
state.
Chadsey.
Yeah. Right. But it's true. We can't do this alone, and transparency is a huge part of that. But it's still about how are we getting that message out, especially in the 24-hour news cycle where there's just so much going on. We have to stand out and stand alone. and I'm passionate about Ohio, passionate about this industry, and this industry is our ticket, and they have been transparent. I think that's something that people miss. It's because you're listening to the keyboard warriors, and when you put studies out, they're not getting published, and so it makes it look like to the general public that we're not transparent, but that's not the case. We are.
Right. Okay. Good to hear. All right. So, we've talked about where we started, kind of the current state of things. But lastly, before, I know we're getting short on time now, but what do you see as maybe our challenges or opportunities going forward? What do you see as it relates to our industry and your communities?
I think it goes back to my comment about welcoming. I think that's
Okay.
the best asset we have.
Yeah.
It can be welcoming of the industry as landowners, as communities.
How do we as the industry help? How do we make the landowners, or make isn't the right word, but how do we encourage the landowners to be more welcoming? What would we need to do?
I think a lot of it is the transparency.
Okay.
Because you just have to be transparent about what you're doing, what your expectations are, and listen to and transparency and communication go a long ways in this relationship.
Yeah, communication is huge, I think,
Right.
and that's what I'm hearing. As I've talked to each of them individually before we came up on stage, they each told stories that were hugely relevant to communication with the gas companies in the community. So I think that's telling our story, that right? We need to do that. So Nick, what do you see as our challenges or opportunities going forward?
I think one of the big challenges is the understanding of, hydrogen is the new, key word, and what that means for the industry in Ohio and the attraction. Harrison County is the only county, I believe, that has upstream, midstream, and downstream from the oil and gas industry. We need to work on, as a state, as Eastern Ohio, mega sites. I think we kind of learned that from Intel, but there's a lot of attraction going on because of oil and gas. It is oil and gas, and then other industries. We need to, try to work with the landowners, find those family farms that, if someone comes along, because we need land. They don't make more of it. And if we're going to realize the full potential of the businesses that want to locate here, or we're in competition with our surrounding states, we need to have the land and the infrastructure. And we need elected officials. Elections have consequences, that are willing to learn and understand, and not necessarily don't have to go bad for us, but they have to understand to try to see the bigger picture.
Gotcha.
So, and with that, the one thing I think that I wanted to say is, as a state, we pushed oil and gas away before. I've said this before to some people, is, where's Rockefeller Center? Where was it originally supposed to be? Cleveland. Because we weren't as welcoming back then, or we looked at it as, I want every piece of that pie and you're my cash cow. And so I think, that's kind of quasi-development side, because being transparent, being attractive as a state, with regulations, with infrastructure, with opening arms, that's the key to Ohio's success with oil and gas.
That sounds great. Sounds great. And Commissioner, do you have anything that you'd like to share as far as what you see as being opportunities or challenges for the industry going forward?
Just to keep up the momentum.
Okay.
We see that it's slowed down a little bit. Now I see that we're starting to drill a little more in our county. And a lot of times there are horror stories out there that people are sure that they've been snookered or somebody got away from something, It's all about that transparency,
And keeping the message up, because I don't know how many people have said, especially during COVID, well, oil and gas is done, right? There's no more going on. It's like, just because you haven't left your house in a year doesn't mean that it isn't.
And how's that house
that
being
house
heated,
is
right?
still warm.
Yeah.
The house
Yes,
is still
that's
warm,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So, we can do better, and we have good people, but again, I go back to, we can't do it alone. There's more of us that need to speak up.
Right.
With producing wells, it's still going on, I
Yeah.
guarantee.
Well, I thank you guys so much for joining us here today and for sharing your thoughts and your experiences with the industry. And I thank you not only for being here today to do that, but also for everything you do in the real world and your support that you show our industry and the partnership. And I'm very grateful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Glad to do it.
Glad- Thank you.
That was fun.
Questions for the panel? Sure. Got a question over here?
Gentlemen, you did a great job, and all of you talked about, I'm originally from southeastern Ohio too, is about this being transformative in what we can do. And this is question kind of directed to Nick, because I've actually seen Nick a lot more outside of Harrison County than I've ever really met him inside. Nick, tell them what you're doing in economic development. You're just not working inside the counties. Tell them about where you go, because I've seen you everywhere.
So,
Is he stalking you?
I think so. It's all right. So I've traveled to, with the help of Jobs Ohio, to Louisiana, California, Nevada, Texas, World Petrochemical Conference, that has allowed us to work with some of the largest companies, and I mean this, some of the largest companies in the world are looking at us, and I've had the pleasure of meeting with them. And I think in Eastern Ohio especially, it's hard for people to even fathom that's happening. And so, yes, anything I can go to not only promote Harrison County, I look at us as one state. The only thing that we have is our border. Let's get it in Ohio. And that's the way Jobs Ohio actually has done things is you don't look at it as county. If I can't get it in Harrison County, I pick up the phone and I call you and say, do you have 1,000 acres with rail with 5 million gallons of water per day? And because it's about getting it here.
Regional.
It's regional, and we work together. And you make a good point, Jerry, is I think a lot of people don't do that enough because, yes, I work for Harrison County. Yes, we've been successful in attracting a $1 billion power plant that hopefully will break ground this year. Western Magnesium, which is the first, because oil and gas is now, picked a site in Harrison County. That's over $1.5 billion investment, and it'll be 250 to 350 jobs. And so it's that traveling and getting out there and being seen, because we have to tell our message. And when we do that, you've got myself down at the very low local level, all the way up to the regional partner of Ohio Southeast, which is Jobs Ohio subsidiary, and then you have Jobs Ohio in the state, and then you have the trifecta of the state, the region, and the local. They talk to the businesses and say, you need to come to Ohio.
Other questions? Okay, one more.
Hi, guys. Again, great job by everybody up there. I just had a question from the landowner perspective. So when this kind of all kicked off, especially, Larry, as you alluded to in Belmont County, the landowners were very involved. You did a lot of education to try to make sure that, they all knew what to expect as the development started to occur. And I guess I'm wondering now, in any of the counties really, are there still those sorts of support groups for the landowners where they're getting together, they're having those communications? We know that few people got a lot of people might have got a little, but we see in the midstream industry that the response from landowners has started to become more like they're tired of us. And so I'm wondering if they're having those discussions amongst themselves still, if there's a need for those, if there's, back to the transparency from the companies, if there's a benefit to setting up more of those types of communications.
That's one of the regrets I have, Sarah, is that we did not continue to keep our group together for something like that. When our group did the leasing, everybody got paid. We kind of felt as a committee that our services, our duties were done. Now looking back, I wish we would have kept that together to communicate for educational meetings for issues with pipeline, because we did not deal with those getting the lease in place. We should have been available to continue that educational pipelines. We should have been available to continue to educate people on how to understand their royalty statements. I think it would have made it a whole lot easier for company and people and landowners to continue that relationship and that transparency, that communication. I regret not doing that. I think looking back, it didn't have to be as extensive of meetings as what we had prior to that, but just be able to bring in resource people and company people, to talk about those. I see the same things you're talking about, and you hear them talked about in small groups, and we should have done that. I do regret that, but there's no reason we can't try something like that again. I think people are hungry for that type of information, that communication.
Join me in thanking our friends from Belmont, Harrison, and Monroe County.
Thank you, guys.
Good deal.
That's fun. That's fun. I enjoyed it.
Great job.
Thank you so much, Tina and gentlemen.
This is good.
I'm going to talk while they walk. Because we've got our next panel. And again, thank you so much for the focus on community. Those of us who live in the towns and go to church in communities that are impacted, we appreciate the work that all y'all do to give back. And when you're looking at $90 billion and counting in investment, come on up, George, Dave, Mary Beth. As Sarah and Larry talked about, it is ongoing communication. It is a challenge. Got it? It is a challenge to make everybody feel warm and fuzzy. Let's face it, that's what we need. We need the love for the industry. And so thank you very much for enlightening us. Now we have the folks from OOGA, and they should not need an introduction, ladies and gentlemen, because you all should know them very, very well, and you all should be writing checks to the scholarship fund. Okay, all right, I'll stand at the back door and collect them on the way out, George. Okay. First of all, we have George Brown, who again needs no introduction. We call him the George Brown because he is the one and only. Has been executive director of OOGA. He's got experience in program partnership operations. In a past life, he did a number of things. I'm pretty sure I met you when you were like 12, when you were working for the senator.
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago. But he was with the Federal Housing Finance Agency, and he has led spearheaded efforts, spearheaded. See, this is what happens when you let Chadsy write for you. He has led efforts at the federal, state, and local
It's all right, Tracy, we're here. We
Wow.
can take it from here. That's
Yeah,
it's
because
all right.
my eyes leapt down to, we refer to it as the Youngstown Way, but he's actually from Warren, Ohio, and got his undergraduate at YSU. Again, David Hill needs no introduction. He is the chair of the board of OOGA. Graduate of Muskingum, oil and gas producer, married to the beautiful Cherry, and has had 3 terms at the State of Ohio Technical Advisory Council under 3 governors now. He is a member of the American Association of Petroleum Geologists for 35 years. You started when you were 12 as
Right,
well. Yeah,
right.
okay, all right. And then Mary Beth
literally,
Anderson is the Director of Government Relations at Antero. She came to Antero in 2017 after serving numerous positions, Southwestern Energy, Chesapeake. Prior to the energy sector, Mary Beth is going to be so much better at this than I am because she was the news director for WSAZ television. She is former board president for the West Virginia Oil and Natural Gas Association, the current VP of the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia, and all kinds of other stuff that she's going to talk about. And she and her husband live in Huntington and have 2 children in college. So we'll talk about the scholarship fund
There we go.
as we go.
There we go.
So Mary Beth, I turn it to you.
Thank you, Tracy. It is really a pleasure for me to be able to be here with these gentlemen on stage. Tracy's given them a very thorough introduction, but I'll just add that, George has a tenure of 10 months at OOGA, and boy, You talk about someone who wraps his arms around a mission and is a very smart and effective leader, and we're all very impressed with what George has done here. And Dave Hill has just been an inspiration to me, and I know many others, because he just has a genuine belief in the work that we do every day. And his advocacy, because of that work, is just, it's like I said, it's an inspiration. It's a model for us all day in, day out. When prices are great, he's an advocate. When prices are low, he's an advocate. He's just one that I know that we can all have counted on. George, you want to kick us off with a look at what's going on at OOGA right now?
Yeah, thanks, Mary Beth, for that, and for your leadership on the operating committee as well, and others who are in the audience. It's been such a great tenure that I've had so far, the 10 months in, and what we've been doing to fulfill our mission as a program and organization. But I'm every day reminded by the wise words of Coach Woody Hayes, who said, "You win with people," and we are winning for the industry because of the people and the team that we have, who are energy champions every day. And I want to recognize the OOGA team as well. Ann Adkins, Sean Toy, Hope Garicki, every day who wake up with a passion for the industry and helping us fulfill our mission. So really thankful for the great team that's helped us achieve really incredible things over the years and here recently. So thank you for what you all do every day. And we've had a really encouraging growth spurt, I think, since I've come on board, and proud of the work that we're doing to fulfill our mission. Last year, we made 8.4 million impressions across the state through our Essential Ohio Energy campaign. Thank you. Through ramping up our earned media and social media efforts and reaching Ohioans directly with the programs and events we do, and through our scholarship award program as well. We have a mission to achieve a statewide mandate. And you'll see on the screen, in 2021, we were directly engaged on the ground in 57 of Ohio's 88 counties in all corners of the state, and we're going to continue to build on that and fulfill our statewide mandate and mission to bring energy education, awareness, and safety about the industry all across the state. I mentioned our scholarship program, and Tracy did as well. Thankful to everybody who has generously contributed to our foundation. In 2021, with our scholarship drive, we received over $30,000 in gifts for our foundation. Those are going to build the future workforce and the future workers in our industry. Thank you to everybody who helped support that. One of our awardees, Mandolin Newell, who's at The Ohio State University and in the crowd here today, who's actually already in the industry. She's working at Ariel and finishing up her degree at OSU, and wanted to congratulate Mandolin and have the opportunity for you all to see and meet her. And we've had 36 others of her last year. We just closed out our application period for this year. We have over 70 applicants for our scholarships this year, but this is the way that we are putting our money where our mouth is, literally, and building the future workforce in Ohio for our industry. So Mandolin, please stand up, please. We're also launching an initiative here to have a specialty license plate for oil and gas in the state of Ohio. The proceeds from that will benefit our foundation and our scholarship fund. We need 150 valid signatures, so if you're willing and able to sign that, please visit our booth after this as well to help us get that established to increase our public awareness as well. And I am going to turn it back to you, Mary Beth.
Yes, this is the first time this has been released. This is breaking news. We have new research just back from the field with new research. What do people think about what we're doing today? David?
Yes, okay, so many of you know, I hope, that in the second half of 2020, the operating committee decided to launch a very aggressive campaign to hopefully show everybody in Ohio how essential your industry is to their everyday life. Our communications committee, which Mary Beth was a very big part of, guided that, and as you're going to see here in just a few minutes, I hope you will agree that it was a very effective campaign. So we done that, and then now when you do something like that, you need to have some metrics. How did we do? It was a rather large expenditure. So we hired the strategy group out of Delaware, Ohio. They've done these type of things on the national stage, very well thought of. I just want to get real quickly the methodology of how we got there. It was 697 adults to Ohio. It was done January 18th through 24th of this year. It was awaited. We just didn't pick up the phone and randomly call people, and it has a margin of error of 3.7%. So in this slide, really, I hope, tells it all. The question was, do you generally support or oppose natural gas and oil development in Ohio? If you look at the dark blue and the white blue, or the dark blue and the light blue, 70% of the people we polled said they support what we're doing. Now, many of you may know the guy or heard of Alex Epstein, who wrote the Moral Case for Fossil Fuels, and he talks about this linear timeline. And where are you at? What does the public think of you? And it starts at -10 to 0 to +10. What I want you folks to know is we're not starting at -5. We're not even starting at 0. 70% of the people we polled in Ohio support what we're doing. So the next question is, do you support or oppose a ban on natural gas and oil development in Ohio? So the red is they oppose a ban, in the light red, and in that number is 56% of the people. 56% of the people polled oppose a ban. So the next question was, and this one I think is very, very powerful. Do you believe that the Ohio oil and gas and natural gas is essential to your everyday life? And that number was 88%. People get, and I want to talk a little bit more about Ukraine and what's going on the world stage in a little bit, but people understand that what we're doing is essential to their everyday life. And then the next one is, how much do you believe a ban on oil and natural gas will affect you personally? And in that one, 76% of the people polled either said a great deal or a fair amount. They recognize that that ban will affect them personally. That's a kitchen table family discussion, and they get it. So
another big number here.
yeah, another big number coming. How concerned are you about increased cost of living and its impact on your personal finances? You know what, my wife Sherry and I, we can't go anywhere without somebody digging me about gasoline prices. That's okay, I can take it. But it's on their mind. And that number is 88%. 88% of the people are concerned. The next one is, how much do you personally worry about the availability and affordability of energy, like natural gas and fuel? 67% of those polled think it's a big deal and they're personally concerned about it. And then I think most of us in this room are like-minded this way. Everybody's talking about the gas prices, gasoline prices, energy. Okay, who do they see as the cause of that? This last one I'm going to go through. Inflation in the United States has reached a 30-year high and has led to an increase in prices, things like fuel and electricity. Which do you blame the most for this increase? 46% blame the government. Overwhelmingly, that's the largest sector, 46% blame the government. So I think we've got the people, at least in Ohio, in a pretty good spot. They know what the problem is. They realize that this industry is essential, and they realize that it's bad public policy at the federal level that is causing much of what they're experiencing right now.
That's right. And
so
it's helpful context, David, that we're metricing where we are. We're going to do two things out of the gate with this data. One, it's going to help guide us as an organization on how we're delivering the message to the people. The previous panel put it perfectly that we need to continue to be better messengers for the industry and highlight the essential energy, and we're going to continue to do that in part of our mission. And then the second, it's going to work to sharpen our campaign message. I sat up here last year and shared that I do have a campaign background and I'm used to winning, and we're going to continue to sharpen our message so that we can win. I did want to share the campaign video that we launched in 2020, and this information is going to help us sharpen our message moving forward.
Whoever you are and wherever you're going, there's one thing that moves us all forward. Sometimes you don't know it's there at all. but you'd definitely notice if it were gone. Ohio Natural Gas and Oil. Affordable energy, essential to life.
So that was our previous campaign ad. We're working right now to get some new creative up. Actually, today, we just launched a new digital campaign ad, so hope that you all will check that out on our online platforms. That helps create and drive the contrast around affordability, the environmental impact, and the ability for Ohio homemade energy to solve the energy issues facing our country and the geopolitical scene. So we're really taking this to heart to be able to continue to push the essential Ohio energy message. We know it resonates, and that's part of our mission as an organization, to educate the state about how important this essential energy is.
Yeah, and we're just so lucky in Ohio to be able to have that funding to do that was set up 25 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's great. So the takeaway is 70% favorability in a state. That's fabulous news, and people who are out in the field and sometimes feel like they get beat up need to be reminded that 70% of Ohioans believe in what you're doing. Is it time to look ahead to 2022 now?
Yeah, we'll do that. I am thoughtful. You just mentioned, the founders of this organization. David, I know you're one of them, and we have many in the audience. But in 1997, 1998, dreaming up the idea of a program like this, just incredible vision. There have been many changes in the industry since that time, and we as an organization have evolved and adapted, but I'm just every day reminded of the folks who had the vision 25 years ago to establish something like this. We are an industry leader in the state, and we're proud of that and thankful of folks like you, David, and other colleagues that have done that, and we're going to continue to build upon that. So this year, mention what we're doing on the campaign side. We also operate two incredible industry-leading programs. One is our firefighter safety training program that many of you are aware of. So we are totally relaunching that in 2022. We're calling it Go Safer, Gas and Oil Safety Awareness for First Responders. We're taking the typical in-person curriculum, turning that into a digital online portal so that first responders from across the state can access incredible training videos 24/7. We'll also still have the investment of in-person training at our facility in Wayne County in Northeast Ohio. So we're excited about the investment. It's sizable, but it's important that we're engaging with first responders and giving them the critical training they need. And then number two, we also have an incredible program with our teacher workshops and in-school engagements with students from across the state. We are leaning forward and looking forward, developing new curriculum and lesson plans that talks about new technologies like hydrogen, and we're also taking it on the road. So for the first time ever, we're taking it to Southwest Ohio, to Cincinnati, to engage with educators there. Again, fulfilling our mission of statewide education and reminding folks that even if they're outside of the production area, why natural gas and oil is so essential to them.
Did you want, are we showing another video or?
Yeah, thank you for that reminder. Did want to share on the note with the teachers, wanted to make sure that you all saw exactly what we're doing with them. And here's a nice recap video from our workshops in 2021.
It's been really eye-opening, so I can't wait to go back to connect to some of the companies that are local to our county. See if I can get maybe a job list. They're 12, 13 years old, but they're starting to think about those things.
Camaraderie is one thing. The great teachers are another thing. The knowledge that I'm gaining, and then all of the hands-on lessons that are already there and ready to rock and roll, is great.
If you plug it in, you should be a supporter of oil and gas.
I would like to thank the Ohio and Gas companies for providing this educational programs for us as teachers. It gives us an opportunity to take their industry and put it in our classroom.
I really want to thank the oil and gas industries for providing this opportunity, and it will make such a difference in the education of my teachers and my students, and you never know where the next industry leader is going to come from.
So we're thankful for the continued investment in our organization and working every day to impact communities and fulfill our mission across the state.
Great. So what do we need for these people to do? I'll start, and then I'm going to give it to you, Dave, but we need these people in this room to follow us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we have a YouTube channel.
We do, yeah.
So the staff does really fabulous content, and so if you are not a follower, become one. Dave, what else do we want
That's
people to
true.
do?
And could you mention all the people that are on the communications committee? They just do a fabulous job.
Yes, look, we're a very externally facing organization, and we have a very strong communications committee that Mary Beth, you help lead with others, and thankful again for the engagement and involvement of the entire operations committee. And there's just so many people in this room and in the hallways that I know have supported us over the years, either in an official role or an unofficial role, or respond to crazy calls from me or the team about an event tomorrow and we need to turn something around. It's just truly inspiring, the passion, I know that's been referenced by Rob earlier, that we have. We're proud of the association we have, and just there's the real partnership we have with the association as well. We're working seamlessly together to help each other fulfill our missions and deliver for the industry.
I see Bruce Levingood and Brian Chavez in particular in the room who are on that community.
Yes, yes. And so, unfortunately for our friends in Ukraine, it's brought this to the world's attention. You know, we think that we've got Ohioans sensitized to the fact that our industry is essential. Again, once or twice in a lifetime opportunity we have now. Everybody is focused on energy. Everybody's focused on energy, so we need to redouble our efforts. Help us push this message out. We need to take advantage of this unfortunate thing that's happening with Ukraine, but it's really shining a bright spotlight on the oil and gas industry all across the world, and we need to take advantage of that. So thanks for any help in advance that you can do for us.
And please stop by our booth. We're right outside the doors. We have campaign merch available with the Essential Ohio Energy logos on it. Support us and find out more ways that you can get involved.
And an opportunity to give to the Scholarship Foundation, yes?
Correct. And any proceeds from anything we sell goes directly to the foundation to help support scholarships for the future generation too.
As will the license plates when that is up and running.
That's right.
Yes.
Dave has one final item of business, I think.
I do. This is going to be so much fun. So we have a couple awards that we have, and we'd like to recognize a couple people. And one of them is our Pipeline Award. And to receive a Pipeline Award, you have to be a person that is outside our industry, that has devoted time, energy, effort, and treasure to the oil and gas energy education program. And Charlie Dixon, would you start making your way up here? While Charlie's walking up here, in 1980, Jerry Olds and my dad and I, we drilled this well in Coshocton County, and I was looking for a well tender. Everybody says, you got to get Charlie Dixon. And so that's how we met. You were also a volunteer firefighter for Bladensburg, weren't you? Yeah, so congratulations. Thank you very much for the Pipeline Award.
Hand that to him.
Yes. Here we go. Ohio Oil and Gas Energy Education Program Pipeline Award. In recognition of your commitment to energy education and the betterment of the people of Ohio, presented to you, Charlie Dixon. Well deserved. Job well done. Okay, we have another award. It's called the Legacy Award, okay? And that is for a person that has donated a lot of time, energy, and effort to the association. And what I have in my hands here, Hope dug this up for me. Thursday, April 9th, 1998, the Ohio Oil and Gas Energy Education Program, these are the minutes, held its first operating committee meeting April 9th. And so they elect a chairman. That's the first motion. The second motion of the first meeting was Sarah Tipka moved that Jerry James serve as vice chair. So, Sarah, would you please come up? Congratulations. Come on over. Okay, so This one says the Ohio Oil and Gas Energy Education Program Legacy Award in recognition of your commitment to energy education and the betterment of the people of Ohio, presented to my great friend, Sarah Timka.
That's very
Thank you. Thank you very much. And don't forget to contribute to the foundation.
There you go.
Thank you, Tracy.
You need some help? Okay.
Charlie, Sarah, thank you for your incredible support of our organization. David as well. That does conclude the morning sessions for this morning. So appreciate all of you being here with us. Please visit the exhibitors in the hallway and be back here in the ballroom at 1:15 for the afternoon session. Thank you.
Done and done.
I get a boot scoop. I'll be back.